This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Well, you picked a great day to tune into the Farm Monitor. As always, cannot thank you enough for having us in your living room, your breakfast room, maybe even the bathroom, wherever you're watching us. Thanks so much for doing so. As the man said, I am Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. As always, we've got a lot of great features to get to. Now, straight ahead, another school year is underway, and so is a new Ag Ed program focused solely on elementary students. John Holcomb on the importance of making an early impression. The Dairy Alliance joins forces with two-time Olympic fencer KIEFER. The role dairy plays in her training and why a family member's story is driving her more than ever.
Plus, it's being called the first of its kind here in Georgia and the largest in the U.S. We sit down with the creators of the urban food forest at Brown's Mill. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Farm Monitor.
Well, by now you know that agriculture is Georgia's #1 industry, employing 1 in 7 of the state's population. However, people have never been more disconnected from agriculture, leaving some not even knowing where their food comes from. But a new ag education curriculum is designed to correct that problem, as John Holcomb reports.
School is finally back in session here in Georgia, and with the new school year comes new opportunities for kids to learn and develop themselves for their future. This year, one of those new opportunities comes in the form of a new agriculture education curriculum that was signed by Governor Deal during the 2018 Georgia FFA convention. The bill, Senate Bill 330, creates a 3-year pilot program designed to incorporate ag education into elementary schools. 20 pilot schools were selected all across the state, and one of those was Hurd Elementary in Macon, Georgia.
We feel very privileged and honored to be able to offer this ag program to our students. It's in its infancy, but we're very excited about where we're going to go with it and the opportunities that it's going to provide our children, not just the learning opportunities with knowledge about science and how plants grow, but also how they learn to work together to be problem solvers and to work collaboratively so that they'll be prepared for middle, high school, and their workforce once they go on.
After being selected as one of the schools, it was time to find a teacher. They ended up finding the perfect fit in Carol Baker Dunn, someone that has been in and around ag her entire life. This is her first year teaching, but says she's excited to teach something that's so important and so vital for kids to understand.
Ag is one of the few things that touches everything that we do, from being able to drive up and down, not only to sit down at the table and eat, but the clothes we wear, the money we spend, the items that we buy, that from the football fields to the baseball fields and back and forth. So ag touches everything.
The goal of the program and curriculum is, of course, to teach kids basic ag knowledge, but they also hope to show kids that there's more to ag than just driving a tractor.
It's not just growing in the garden, which is very important, but it's also the production, the marketing, the business aspects. How do you market your produce or your meat products, and then how do you manage that money? So we just felt like with time, as we grow the program, it was going to provide our students with such a great learning opportunity.
In the end, they're hoping to spark someone's passion by exposing them to something they might otherwise never would have been exposed to.
I want to instill a passion and a work ethic in them, for them to be able to carry this to the next level into middle school, for the middle school teachers ag teachers to continue to grow the programs and touch the children to where they have a passion where it just feeds right into the high school, and from high school into college, to where these students can go into either some kind of production ag, or they end up with their own family farm, or they're learning how to be the politician and the advocators to stand up for our family farms in Washington.
Reporting in Macon for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Well, meantime, more than 600 people recently attended the two-day Crossroads Music Festival held in Thomasville. It benefits farmers affected by Hurricane Michael. In all, more than $13,000 raised, with all the proceeds going to a local nonprofit that will distribute the funds as needed. While that money will help farmers in the short term, event organizers hope building awareness will eventually help them in the long run.
They put food on our table. They are everything in this community. They work hard, they work outside, we don't notice them enough. It's all about bringing notice to them because they've been kind of pushed back and worried about everybody else. What about the farmers who provide the food and the clothes on our back? That's what's important.
Well, starting next summer, hundreds upon millions of people around the world will be cheering on their favorite athletes at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. And the dairy industry will be well represented as a number of those participants will be sporting the Team Milk logo. Damon Jones spoke with one whose message also hits close to home.
We've all seen the milk ads over the years, from "It does a body good" to "Where's your milk mustache?" And next year, the list of those promoting the industry will include Olympic athletes as part of the Team Milk campaign. And what better spokespeople, as studies show the majority of them grew up on it.
9 out of 10 Olympic athletes grew up drinking milk. And basically that it's directly tying into powering and providing nutrition for children. And it's a good target for moms, and there's great advertisement that's done that's really relatable for moms and kids alike.
One of those athletes spreading that message is two-time Olympic fencer KIEFER, who certainly understands the importance of consuming the daily recommendation of dairy.
I grew up drinking milk with my siblings, and that kind of reminds me of my childhood and where I came from. Also, as a student and an athlete, dairy products are a very important source of fuel for my body and my brain to make sure I have enough energy and putting the right things in to be the high-functioning person I need to be every day.
Having a proper diet is essential for Lee and other Olympic hopefuls as they put in hours of intense work at the gym each and every day.
Right now, my goal is to go to the 2020 Olympics, my last Olympic Games, so I want to put out everything. I want to maximize my training. I want to treat my body well with the right food.
They're operating at the top of their game. They're at the peak of their physical and mental abilities, and as part of that, a nutritious diet definitely is integral to that. So dairy and milk being a piece of that diet is definitely something that is a powerful message.
It's a message that is especially important to KIEFER, who not only sees the benefits of dairy products every day as a med student at the University of Kentucky, but also in her personal life.
Last year she was diagnosed, and my grandma also has osteoporosis. And just knowing at a young age, if you're consuming dairy products and other forms of nutrient-rich food with vitamin D and calcium, you can prevent this, and of course the proper exercise too. So I think being in my position, being able to be an advocate for people to take care of themselves from a young age for their future health is important to me.
As for the overall message this campaign is hoping to spread, it's really quite simple.
You know, milk is nature's perfect food, and the protein, everything that we bring to the table is the original clean diet. It represents basic nutrition. It's the first nutrition that you have in life, and it's one of the last nutritions that you have in life. So it runs full circle.
Reporting from Stone Mountain, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Hi, Damon, thank you so much. After the break, we're going to take you to an area of Atlanta where more than a third of the population lives below the poverty line and lacks fresh fruits and vegetables. But an amazing concept aims to halt that trend.
I'm Hong Xiang Liu, and currently assistant professor in the Regenerative Bioscience Center in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences at the University of Georgia. My lab's research is to understand how taste buds are formed and maintained. We really want to find ways to help people who suffer from taste loss. I give you an example. Chemotherapy can cause taste bud loss, then subsequently taste dysfunction. And these patients may lose taste. It affects the quality of life. The questions that we are trying to answer: where are the stem or progenitor cells for taste bud cell renewal? How the taste bud cell renewal is regulated by certain molecular signaling pathways? How we can modulate taste perception and appetite? And can we use nerve stimulation or neuromuscular stimulation to modulate appetite and eating behavior? We use multiple mouse models in order to track cell lineages, to define the specific roles of molecular signaling pathways in regulating taste bud cell renewal. We measure the taste bud number and the cell types of taste buds, and also measure the gene expression. We now established some approaches to measure the eating behavior, the food intake and body weight. Hopefully our studies will be beneficial to finding strategies for stem cell therapy and gene therapy. And hopefully our studies will lead to findings that's beneficial for the well-being of people, for improving people's quality of life. That excites me.
Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms has a plan. By 2021, 85% of Atlanta residents will be within 1/2 mile of accessible fresh food. To ensure that happens, City Council approved the transformation of an abandoned piece of property near the Lakewood Fairgrounds and Browns Mill Golf Course. That was in 2016. 3 years later, the urban food forest at Browns Mill is now the first of its kind in Georgia and believed to be the largest in the United States.
Just 4 miles from downtown Atlanta, volunteers are braving 90-degree temperatures, turning this one-time family farm into what many agree will not only be a luxury, but a necessity.
Oh my gosh, we need it so bad. The closest store, I'm blessed to have a car, but I have many of my neighbors and people in the community do not have cars, so they either take an Uber or they walk 2 miles to the bus station on Moreland, get on a bus, and they're carrying their groceries. So this is what a food desert is, when you have to go so far just to eat healthy food. So the fact that we are here and it's organic, and we know it's organic, and you could go straight from the farm to the table, it's a blessing.
At just over 7 acres, one could say the urban food forest was ripe for the picking. The site still bears the fruits of past labors, including pecan trees, blackberries, and muscadines. And thanks to an $86,000 grant from the U.S. Forest Service, once fully complete, the forest will feature community garden beds, a fruit and nut orchard, herb gardens, walking trails, and gathering spaces.
Yeah, this park means a lot to me. I think that all of our public parks should have some food portion to it. It doesn't make sense for us to be mowing acres and acres of park space that isn't being utilized, when we could actually be having community gardens and orchards in these spaces throughout the city, and kind of create the city of Atlanta as a food forest and not just have it be at this one park. So this kind of is a new model for a park in the city of Atlanta, and we're hoping to replicate this in other park spaces and other city-owned lots.
The fact that we actually have volunteers now to help this grow and evolve is an amazing thing for me to see. We have people from as far as Africa, different parts of Africa that have come. Las Vegas, Washington, Cincinnati. We've actually have groups that come here and want to help us build this. So when I say it's a us, a we thing, it takes a village. It truly takes a village for all of this to happen.
Of course, volunteer means free of charge, much like the forest itself and any type of harvesting, which is free to anyone who enters. According to Mike McCord, that type of generosity is something the land's former owners took great pride in.
Some of the neighbors have lived here their whole lives, and they remember the Morgan family. They remember playing in the woods back here and petting the horses, and they also remember the Morgan family leaving bags of excess produce on the fence posts for neighbors to come pick up. So there's a history of food abundance on this site that we are kind of continuing that legacy here with making it a public food forest. Right now the project is still young, so all of the hundreds of fruit trees we've planted are still not bearing fruit yet, but in 3 to 5 years we'll be producing tons of fruit that'll be free for the public to come and harvest. We'll have regularly scheduled harvest days for people to come and participate. And then we have our community garden here where we grow annual vegetables, and if you come to the site for a tour or to volunteer, you'll be able to go home with some veggies.
Quite the concept, isn't it? And hey, don't forget, if you missed any part of the Food Forest story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, The Farm Monitor.
And once you're done there, head on over to our Facebook page, send us some feedback. Even better, if you have a story idea, send us a message either on Facebook or at the address on your screen. That is news@farm-monitor.com. Well, you know what they say, one person's trash is another person's treasure. In this case, an old mule barn once scheduled for demolition is now a treasure for the entire community of Griffin, Georgia. That is next when the Farm Monitor continues.
The spotted lanternfly is an invasive pest found in several counties in the northeast United States and is threatening American agriculture and natural resources.
It damages more than 70 types of plants, including grapevines, fruit trees, and hardwoods.
We need your help to look for and report it. Spotted lanternflies excrete a sticky fluid that promotes mold growth and weakens plants. First seen in Pennsylvania in 2014, this invasive pest has been found in nearby states because people unknowingly moved infested materials or items containing egg masses. Most states are at risk because this pest, in all stages, can easily hitchhike on things we move. So to stop the spread of spotted lanternfly, we're working with state and local partners and you. Look for spotted lanternflies year-round. When they're young, in spring and summer, they are black with white spots and turn red as they mature. Adults with their colorful wings are easy to spot in late summer and fall. Newly laid egg masses look like wet gray putty before turning dull and brown, like cracked mud. Look for egg masses in fall, winter, and spring on all variety of outdoor surfaces like trees, bricks, stones, fences, grills, outdoor equipment, and vehicles. They gather in groups and feed on trees, especially the invasive tree of heaven, or Ailanthus, its preferred host. If you see spotted lanternfly, report it. Contact your State Department of Agriculture or Cooperative Extension Office. Learn more at the Hungry Pests website, aphis.usda.gov/hungrypests/SLF.
Finally this week, thanks to a $1 million gift from the Dundee Community Association, a once aging rundown mule barn on the campus of UGA Griffin is now a social gathering spot and dream come true for Marcy Bradbury, owner and operator of From the Farm at Dundee Cafe. A small piece of history, now a little piece of heaven for all who enter.
The building is the oldest on campus. It was built in the early part of the last century. The building next to it, which was also a mule barn house, was struck by lightning and burned down, so they rebuilt this one, eliminated the one that was burned down, of course, and just put this one on that site in 1912. It was made of a special construction called slip concrete, which in its day was a brand new way of making buildings, and it's still that today. It still has the original concrete in it.
I am blessed. I'm blessed to be the vendor in this facility. It has been an opportunity that I never thought that I would have. And so when I was approached about this opportunity last year, it kind of fit into the niche of what I do. And UGA has been very welcoming, and they've done anything and everything that I've ever asked for. And so I'm very, very blessed to be here. I have two favorite parts. One are the turkey tracks in the conference room. It's really cool because the epoxy they put on the floor doesn't compromise what the concrete floor is. And so all the imperfections that you see in the floor, you can actually see them, but we can mop them at the same time. So it's nice about that. But there's turkey tracks, there's raccoon tracks. Those are really cool. And then being able to look at the walls and see what the people who worked here wrote on the walls, because they would write on it, you know, as the mules were bringing in whatever they were, you know, whatever they brought in. And so they wrote all these calculations on the wall. And to be able to see that part of history, I mean, I can see the walls, I can see what they made, but actually see how somebody worked and what they did, to me, is just fascinating.
This did house mules until the mid part of last century, and then of course tractors came into play, and then it housed tractors. And eventually it was just a storage unit. And then it was on a demolition list to be demolished. And some people on the campus, including the former assistant dean here, Dr. Arkin, saw a potential of it being something special on campus, and thus it was kind of the birth and the vision of the Mule Barn Cafe.
What we do is we do as much as we can, farm to table. Our specials every day are done farm to table. Right now, the only thing that's really available are greens, kale. Cauliflower just came up, so we had cauliflower soup this week. You know, so as things come into the farm and to my local farmers that I use, then I'm able to use those here at the cafe. So we do as much as we can. So what we have an item here called mule feed, and it just happened to come around and someone called it mule feed, and it's a kale salad, and one of my local farmers grows the kale just for me, and so we can have that. It's a softer kale. We like the flavor and the texture of it, and so we use as much as we can. I'm also working with food suppliers and finding out where my food is coming from, and if I can get it out of Georgia and I can get it locally, that's what I'm going for.
We have people now filling up our parking lot right next to the cafe, coming in, taking advantage of it, taking advantage of the wonderful breakfasts and lunches that are open to the community. A lot of people are maybe under the perception that it is just for the campus, but it's not. It's the City of Griffin restaurant. People from all over the area can come in anytime and enjoy it.
Wow, certainly no lack of charm in that place.
No.
Unfortunately, that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Farm Monitor.
Before we go, a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening out on the farm. Be sure you check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and with us here on the show.
Take care, everybody. See you next week right here on the Farm Monitor.
Have a great week, everybody.